gone through all the steps of our relationship ladder, and there are a couple more key pieces. I'm talking about the pillars of our relationship ladder, the sides of it that hold it all together, hold together all of our steps. One of those pillars is connection. And this might be what you think of first when you think of relationships. You think of being a match with your partner. You think of connecting, of engaging. You think of love. And this is a pillar, this is a side of the relationship ladder because it should be constant. And I'm not talking about, again, not talking about romantic dates and flowers, and I'm not really talking about romance. I'm actually talking about friendship. So having a relationship friendship or a marital friendship is very significant. And it is there every day of your relationship, every moment, which is why it's a pillar. The rest of those steps need that connection piece to hold it together. And so what do I mean when I say connection? I'm talking about a meaningful way of engaging with your partner, spending quality time together, spending quality time face to face rather than side by side. And so there's no one way to connect. This is very personal to you, to your relationship, but there are a few things we want to consider. Every time you and your partner are spending quality time together, confiding in each other, you are contributing to a relational savings account. And this relational savings account you can draw from during times of distress. This relational savings account is going to build up goodwill for your partner for those times of intensity, the times of conflict. In my mind, I jokingly think of this relational savings account almost as like a party foul phenomenon. So think about the party foul, right? You're having fun with friends, you're at a party, somebody knocks over a drink, and everybody, says party foul, can laugh and make a joke, right? So same thing in your relationship. When you have a relational foundation that is based on connectivity, engagement, goodwill, camaraderie, those little moments when there are conflicts are like your party foul. It's like, that's my partner. We just got into that old argument again, and you can let it roll off your back a little easier, right? So our connection is helping us to have that foundation of goodwill toward each other. There is not a hard, fast rule to how often you need to be connecting with your partner. You can decide that for yourselves, but I would say a general guideline, general rule of thumb would be to try to have one night or day of connection per week that is really just about the two of you. So I'm talking about a date night without the kids, just the two of you. You're able to talk, you're able to have conversations like friends would. Again, another guideline, you want to try to not talk business during your dates. So we don't want to talk finances, kids, schedules. We just want to be with each other like friends would. Sharing things with each other that, trying to get to know each other again, because we are always growing, we're always changing, we're always evolving. And so things that we ask each other at the beginning of relationships, what are your hobbies? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your favorites? All of those little things that make us who we are. We lose that over time if we aren't checking in with our partner. Because those things can change, about each one of us. We're always evolving. And so we want to reconnect with our partner and, ask them, so what keeps you up at night? That's a really great question to ask somebody. What do you think about most these days? What's on your mind? Think about inclusivity. So earlier I used tennis as an example, because just the other day I shared with my husband, I want to start taking tennis lessons. And I hadn't even thought of mentioning it to him. I didn't think he'd be interested, but he actually surprised me and said, actually, I would like to do that too. Why don't we do that together? So these small moments of sharing things with your partner that you might keep to yourself, or you might think, oh, I know them, they're not interested in that. Well, you just never know. You want to keep it, your relationship is living and breathing, right? It's evolving. You're each growing, and so is the relationship. And so you want to keep it alive. You want to be checking in with each other and asking each other questions. So here are a few other ideas to contribute to that relational savings account. Think about spending face-to-face time with your partner. So much of our time is spent side by side when we are watching TV, watching a movie, when we're in the car, when we're looking at our phones, but we're sitting next to each other. Side-by-side connection is great. It's nice to just enjoy someone's company. You can sit in the same room together and not have to talk. That's wonderful. But we want to think about connecting face-to-face with that quality time. Again, I go back to active listening. I go back to validation. These are excellent connectivity tools. Another great way to connect with your partner, and you might not like this one, but trying a screen fast. So putting down those phones, putting down, the computer that's in front of you, trying to, and it doesn't need to be a whole day, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30, whatever you want to do. Putting away all of the gadgets that compete for our time and attention, and maybe trying an active listening exercise where one partner talks for 5 minutes and the other partner just listens. There's no back and forth. There's just one partner speaking. Physical connection. Obviously, that might be what some of us go to first. That's a great way to connect. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm not talking about intimacy. I mean, even just holding hands, the little things, the moments where you and your partner might have extremely busy schedules and busy days, and you might feel like you are just ships passing in the night. And as you are passing each other, maybe you do a quick hug, right? Stuff like that, where you can pull each other in for these little moments of connectivity. It doesn't even need to be a big date or lunch or 5 minutes of active listening. It can just be those moments of reaching out and touching your partner. I think we forget those moments of physical connection that can be so simplistic. Hand holding, right? So lastly, I want to leave you with a connectivity tool that I call daily bookends. So thinking about our morning and evening routines, thinking about how often we jump out of bed and just rush to grab coffee or take the kids to school, or we have different schedules than our partner and they're still sleeping and you've been up for hours, but how are you starting your day with your partner? If there can be 30 seconds of connectivity in the morning, doesn't need to be first thing, but if it can be, that's great. 30 seconds of, maybe asking, what's your plan for the day? What do you have going on today? Maybe doing meditation together, if that's something that is interesting to you. Reading something together. There are tons of books that are, like a daily read, just a daily digest kind of a thing, just a moment that is yours at the beginning of the day. Even if it's 30 seconds, even if it's physical connection, a hug, a kiss bye before you leave for the office, I think that morning routine can be very important. And similarly, the end of the day routine. So thinking about how often you are each working late, or again, busy with schedules, busy with kids, getting into bed at separate times, or maybe you're not living together, so remembering to call each other at the end of the evening. Again, these are suggestions. It's whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable and organic and personal to you and your partner. I'm not suggesting that calling your partner every night to say goodnight is the one way to create connection, but it's just something to think about, these daily bookends, how you are starting and finishing your day.